Chris Rock gon' be the reason we gon' blow. Boom.
So, it's your guys, middle-aged and over the hill.
It's your boy Trizali, and I'm joined by...
Stack Pockets Glaze.
That's right.
And we are the WireHeadz podcast.
The WireHeadz podcast.
We're in a video format this time around.
Indeed.
And we intend to, make that a regular on the show. It's really great to be in pixel form in front of your visual receptors.
That's right. It's been a long time coming, but here we are.
Yes. And as we usually do, how you been, man? What's going on?
Everything's good. Everything's good. It's been too long since we've done this.
Yeah, definitely. Man, life isn't good, man, without some opportunity, right, to connect with the people and talk about what we love.
That's right.
So today we're gonna be getting into some interesting, topical stuff.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Rubbed on the surface of that wound to bring soothing, feelings. Yeah. Okay. Today we're gonna be looking at the
Grammy nominations.
The unfortunate murder of Takeoff from Migos.
And lastly, we're going to be talking about Nas and his relevancy.
In today's hip-hop world?
So let's dive in. Grammys.
You mean the scammies?
The scammy.
We always talking about this here. So
scammy nominations.
The scammy nominations. And whatever, man.
Yeah. I mean, what is your take on the scammies? Does it have a place? Should we even care?
You should lean back and listen to this.
All right. I can do like Fat Joe. I'm here with you.
I don't know. I don't know that it makes sense in a world where persons can become amazing worldwide sensations independently of record companies and A&Rs and all of those things that were needed in those days. I mean, we see many of those artists still needing to rely on those bigger companies for distribution.
Yeah, for sure.
And marketing dollars and so on. So
yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit of a balance where the person is essentially proving themselves by themselves, and then that allows them to get the best deal. But in a world where that's the case, is it still relevant for a bunch of persons who may or may not understand your particular type of music to vote on whether or not you should be given an award at the end of the year?
So your take on it is that there's no real need? Is that what you're saying? There's no actual need for the Grammys in today's music consumption, digital era, social media? No need.
That would be dependent on how many people care. I mean, why did Drake remove his whatever else he made last? Because I really can't stand him either. Why did he remove his music from the Grammys?
Well, I think Drake and The Weeknd, their take on it was that the Grammys or the nomination board, they were out of touch with what people really love, which is ironic because I think they're in touch with who they want to be in touch with. I think they care about who they think is making good music.
Does that and who, and but then who is The Weeknd and Drake talking about? Who are they talking about? Sorry.
I mean, as far as
if they're claiming that the Grammys are no longer relevant, who are they no longer relevant to? If the Grammy committee or whoever votes for the music thinks that they're making connection with whoever,
yeah, you see,
where's the dissonance?
You see, that's the thing. I think. Well, firstly, Lupe Fiasco had highlighted that in order for your song or your album to be nominated, it had to be submitted by a label or the label that you were a part of. So immediately, if you weren't connected to a big imprint, and please correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the comments, but if you're not connected to a big imprint, have major distribution, you would fall off the end. You're not gonna get recognized. One, right? So firstly, it encourages the machine, which is music distribution. That's the first thing. But I think the second thing is that there seems to be a very underlying political agenda to who gets nominated and who actually receives Grammys.
A political agenda?
Yeah, why would there be a political agenda, right? But no, so there's
A left-leaning political agenda.
a lean back political agenda. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I mean,
Political agenda
whose politics are
nonetheless.
we talking about? I mean, I don't really think that people are really and truly singing about, trickle down economics versus, through the Reaganomics era
But I do think
versus, same-sex marriage.
I do think, however, that when an artist is Grammy nominated or a Grammy winner, that the label has some benefit to gain from that. I do think that that's the thing. So I think like anything else, there's a bit of collusion and stuff that goes on behind the scenes. It's not just the best music wins. And I say that because what's the rubric? How are they choosing who are the best albums? Like, who knows?
You are right. Who really knows?
Who knows?
Because in a category for best rap album, you have
Call it.
Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is there,
Yeah, definitely.
but so was It's Almost Dry.
Yes, most definitely.
Like, did It's Almost Dry really sell that many units?
No.
I mean, I know that the hip hop community thinks it's a great album,
Yes.
and is that why it's there? Like, you see what I'm saying?
No, I understand. Yeah. So
It almost feels as if they nominate based on numbers and popular appeal, which people should know on this podcast doesn't necessarily get much appeal.
No.
We're not into pop.
Yeah, exactly.
But we listen to it.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yep, for sure.
Wasn't Khaled's album in that list?
Yeah, God Did. Yeah, God Did is on there.
And I just want to say that I listened to it and I absolutely hate it. And I don't even care about, comment me away all you will, but like, nah, like that, it's horrible to me.
I disagree, but it's not Grammy worthy.
Well, right.
It's
Like,
not Grammy worthy.
It's not Grammy worthy.
That I can agree with you. So
Right. How does God Did get in the same category as It's Almost Dry? Like, can you even think of a single from It's Almost Dry? Yes, you can.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Yeah, I can, but I don't know. I think with Drake and The Weeknd and even Frank Ocean to a lesser degree, I think they've recognized that there's more than just the music that goes into it. I think, I'm not going to talk about the Illuminati and all this kind of stuff, but I do think generally there's a lot more that goes into who's nominated and ultimately who wins. Like Kendrick Lamar would have always had an album there, even if it was a shitty album.
I actually think so too.
He's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and
it is expected that he would have something there.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, what did you think of
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers?
Oh, big pause.
Yeah. It was okay. It was mid. I give it an average score. I give it like a 5.5 out of 10. Only because I have very strong feelings about Kodak Black and Kendrick Lamar's association with Kodak Black. Two kind of hit home this idea that he's a human, he's a man, he's flawed, and get off of me, and I don't want to be your moral. Your moral. What do we call it on the ship? The thing on the
anchor?
No.
Mast?
Remember you were talking about Drake and we were talking about what's that thing? Mass head. The thing that sticks out.
Oh, do you mean the bow?
You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
When I was telling you that Drake was a beacon and he's an anchor, and you're like, no, he's not anchor. He's the.
You mean like he's the figurehead?
The figurehead. Exactly.
Very well.
He's a figurehead for, this like black political, this empowerment, this.
He is? Kendrick Lamar? Yeah? You mean after All Right? You mean
All Right?
You mean after? That was 2 albums ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It had such a tremendous impact. It fueled a whole movement. You can't take that away from it.
It was an anthem for a whole movement. I mean, yeah, I understand this. So
he
you're
had
saying
that
that
weight
people
on
are
his
because
shoulders.
as far as persons are concerned, Kendrick Lamar is going to drop the next conscious album, a conscious
Yes.
album that's supposed to also be palatable to the masses.
To the masses, yeah.
I mean, I understand that the album was conscious.
Which album was conscious? Mr. Morale wasn't conscious. That's just it.
Well, you see, this therein lies therein lies the rub, because what's conscious is dependent on your particular level of awareness and, dare I say, wokeness, because that word has certainly gotten a negative connotation if you revolve in certain spheres. But if you are aware of things in a particular way, right?
If you're woken up,
if you're woke enough, you ain't out here in these sheep fleeces. Then maybe the things he's talking about aren't that amazing anyway. I mean, I've had difficulty with Kendrick Lamar for years, in terms of some of the things he says. And it is one of the things that has made me feel, like a rapper who thinks a little more deeply about things than another person is certainly an artist. Any musician who's thinking more deeply about social issues and so on is certainly more appealing to me and many others than,
such as myself.
Oh my God! Right? Than But then you listen more deeply to you listen more deeply to some of the things that he's saying, and you are I am reminded of the fact that this guy doesn't have a degree in sociology, he doesn't have a degree in psychology, and so even though he may be saying much more than the average person, it maybe isn't nuanced and thought out in a particular way that I am like, you're not really impressing me in some of these things that you're saying.
Right. Okay.
But that's for the nerds.
Yes, it is. But saying all of that, you asked me how I feel about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Mid.
Yeah, it's mid. It's a 5.5 out of 10.
It took a while for me to and you think that has a lot to do with what's his name, Kodak Black's association with it. Is there any word from Kendrick Lamar about what Kodak Black's presence on that album means?
No, I don't think.
Not that you're aware of.
No, as far as I'm aware,
it was left up to interpretation.
He never addressed it in the public sphere.
Yeah, and there are a lot of persons who wonder about that. I mean, given Kodak Black's evident misogyny, toxicity in terms of his relations with women, I mean, just craziness, man. Anyway,
but we have to take a pause and say we are very. We have to say it.
Was that?
Die Hard was nominated for Best Melodic Rap Song.
And that's a big deal.
And that's a huge deal.
Because a Bajan was on that song.
Yeah, Home Drums beat Lotus. And great job to Amanda Reefer and her whole team from the WireHeadz podcast. That's freaking phenomenal, and we do hope that you win that Grammy.
Well, I think it's very necessary to say here that honestly, Die Hard was one of my favorite songs.
It's one of the best songs.
It's one of the best albums on the album.
Yeah, one of the best songs on the album for sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's not just, we ain't like fanboying here.
Future, I Never Liked You. Jack Harlow, Come Home, The Kids Miss You. DJ Khaled, God Did. Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T, It's Almost Right. Did you even listen to Jack Harlow?
No. Is that bad?
AMOROUS First Class
Up in the sky. Yeah.
Shout out Fergie.
I remember the song.
That's an epic sample though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Get out of here, man.
It was that bad?
Future, Mr. Toxic himself.
Oh, and apparently there has been a rumor that SPG.
Rumors are spreading. Rumors are going.
That SPG likes Future.
That's not, bro. That is not a rumor. We have that on film. That is a certified.
It was on the screen. It was on the
bro.
I do not like Future. Future is horrible. I have liked some songs that he has had.
I can do like how Mance do with Diddy, and I can bring the receipts.
Bring the receipts.
I can bring the receipts.
Bring the receipts. Bring the receipts.
You hear this? Bring the receipts.
Bring the receipts. Anyhow, yeah. Anyway, I mean, let's tie this up. Best rap album out of those ones: Jack Harlow, DJ Khaled, it's Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, and Future. Like, you know what I would pick out of them?
Yeah, you know what I would pick out of them?
You would pick none. I would.
I would pick It's Almost Dre, and I don't like It's Almost Dre, but
it
guaranteed it's the
it's
best.
better. It's the best record album out of them.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah. So that means you had a bum year for nominations.
True, like, dude,
Because you don't like It's Almost Dre.
I don't.
Which I don't understand. I thought you were a Pusha T fan.
I love
that
Pusha.
stuff is awesome, B.
I love Pusha.
ARs do your body like folding chairs.
Oh boy.
Sit down.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This podcast does not promote gun violence.
Really, it doesn't.
Takeoff's death.
Where were you when you heard the news that Takeoff died? I actually thought like it was a prank. You remember like back in the day, like when you would get people saying a star has died, and then it would kind of come out and be like, oh, that's just a hoax. People are just doing that to like elicit whatever, fair response from their fans. But no,
I think I
legitimately.
may have been sitting at my desk at work. I know that I within hours of it happening, I think I had. Didn't it happen at night? It was in like wee hours in the morning,
yeah,
like
2 or
like
3
around
a.m. or something.
2 or
like
3
that.
a.m.
Yeah.
And I think like I believe I was sitting at my desk at work like around 7:30 that
Wild.
morning, and my jaw hit the floor. B.
I mean, from all accounts, Takeoff was very mild-mannered kind of guy, not very into confrontation and stuff like that. And like when I heard the circumstances under which he died, that he was not even like
He wasn't the target, apparently,
he was
of whatever was happening.
whatever was happening. I heard some reports that maybe he was coming out to see to make sure that Quavo was okay.
I have heard
Because
it
he
said
heard
that
these
he
shots.
actually pushed Quavo out of the way from what was happening,
No,
or he put himself in the way of what was happening
to protect Quavo.
To protect Quavo.
Wow.
But you hear all kinds of things.
Yeah, true. You're gonna hear.
You
all
hear
kinds
about
of things.
people planted to do things purposely. There's always conspiracy theorists and things, but supposedly there was a dice game, there was an argument, and he got a stray bullet, and that stray bullet hit him in the head.
That's wild.
Because there's a video. Have you seen the video?
I don't watch that stuff.
No, I don't
So
either.
don't send it to me on WhatsApp. I am not gonna watch it.
Yeah, please don't send me that stuff either. I don't remember how I came up on it. I think I was just surfing the net and up popped this video. And there wasn't much to see other than Quavo standing up from beside his body and saying something like, "Oh no,
Yeah. Listen, it's crazy because like this year, how many people have we lost this year? Well, from a global hip hop community, we got Takeoff is gone. PNB Rock was recently killed.
I'm not sure of the circumstances for that.
There was somebody else. There were a few people that died due to gun violence in this way. And I heard somebody say about being a hip hop artist or being a rapper is like the most dangerous job right now.
Really?
Yeah. And I agree with him. I do agree with him because I think that you become a target.
Of what? Of whom? There's some rappers who seem to be.
Of whom? What do you mean? Of people that want what you have. They want your jewels. They want your car. They want whatever possessions you have. If you're wearing like $500K in jewelry, why wouldn't someone who's hard pressed run up on you? Forget jewelry. Suppose you want street cred. Yeah. You like all this gangster music, but you don't know what it's like in these streets. Man want, you know what I mean? Like,
It's not that I don't know what it's like. It's just that
it's incredulous to you.
It's not incredulous. It's just sad. It's just tragic.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
It's just tragic. I mean, I don't know. There's a part of my psyche that's been indelibly impacted by listening to gangster rap of the 1990s.
Mm-hmm. Is it any different though? Honestly, having like listened to that music,
But
people say that it isn't any different.
My valuing of human life goes beyond hearing men talk about shooting guys or whatever. Yeah, this type of music. And there are those of them who say, yeah, but this is just entertainment. But then there are those of them that say, no, don't belittle what we live and what we've seen. I don't want anybody to be killing anybody.
No, Definitely not. I mean, but what do you think? This is just like a comment out left field. If as hip hop artists they maybe glorify might be. I mean, there's some artists who do glorify street life. Truly, if they glorify street life, couldn't it be said that they are actually attracting street life incidents to them and into their sphere by living that life? Like we said about 21 Savage. 21 Savage say, yeah, I mean, you know, if you can be on the block, you gotta accept that shit's gonna happen. You on the block.
Well,
like,
this is what I was going to say about the situation with Takeoff. I don't know. I mean, what do we know? But from reports, what do we really know?
Yeah.
But from reports, Takeoff wasn't directly involved in whatever happened.
Yes, he was.
But
yeah.
unfortunately, he was in a space for something like that to happen.
Exactly.
And so therein lies the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
You may have grown up in a particular neighborhood where gambling on the street corner is a norm.
It's a norm.
And unfortunately, gambling on street corners often results in violence because persons get into conflicts
It's
about money won
and
money not won and owed and so on. So, like, if that's who were at the party, and I understand that the party was over and everybody was just kind of leaving the spot and there were a lot of people outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, so it's one of those unfortunate circumstances of you being where particular things can happen and the types of activity can occur, then you can get embroiled in things. And I think most of us know this. You and I, personally, I am sure, have lived lives where we've seen things, but we have directed our life to not be in spaces where we come into contact with those things.
I literally avoid certain places.
Literally.
Because
like,
I'm
literally.
like, not that I'm going out looking for trouble, but, you know, kind of trouble has a way of finding you.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to find you if you put yourself where
in it.
Certain, yeah, it doesn't have to find you.
Trouble is like, oh, look, they did.
Come in, man.
Come in, man. Crossed it.
Nah, like, you just be like, trouble is just like, is almost like a contraindication between a bacterium and your, you know, physiology. Oh my God. I'll nerd out here. Yeah.
What is happening? Where am I?
Nah, seriously. You go to a spot where things occur in a particular way, then the things just be like, you ain't here?
Wait, what you doing? Well, yeah.
Well, if you ain't here, you must be wanting some of this.
Come in.
Exactly.
Rest in peace to Takeoff. Our condolences to your family and all your loved ones. And, you know, we just putting this out there. Let's stop this. You know, let's stop all the senseless killing. We don't need any of this. We don't need any more of this.
There's a lot more behind the kind of violence that black societies experience, especially in a post-colonial, post-slavery place like America for black communities. There's a lot more as to why violence occurs in any human society.
Yep.
But all we can do is hope that persons will value life above all else in their next move, for their next minute. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so 21 Savage, back on Savage. 21 Savage in an interview, cannot remember the podcast, came out and said Nas is irrelevant. He said those words. Nas is irrelevant. And I think the timing couldn't have been worse, because Nas is on a 4-album streak right now, with his latest drop of King's Disease 3, which the self-proclaimed Nas superfan over here has not listened to.
I mean, how long was it? Oh, like, what, a week? 3 days?
3 days too long, nigga. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, forgive me. Like Freddie Gibbs got a new album nearly 2 months, and I haven't listened to it yet.
Wow.
Yeah, work has been tough. Work has been tough.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to garbage like God did.
You gotta do it for the pod.
That's what I was just about to say. For you guys.
For you. We doing this for you.
Yeah.
No, seriously. So
yeah.
Nas, so essentially what had happened was that the internet like came after him.
Came after 21?
Yeah, and it warmed my heart because he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Nas is not relevant in popular culture.
No, not
He's
anymore.
not-
I
not
mean,
anymore.
even if he produces really good albums, and he has done some better work in recent times. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as big a fan of King's Disease one. We kept talking about that on this pod.
Yeah.
But I've gone back and listened to it and thought, maybe it was a different headspace. This isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
I think I had to get used to hearing Nas' voice again from the track.
Oh,
that was
Bob.
it for me personally.
But I mean, King's Disease 2 was amazing to us. I thought Magic was really good.
King's Disease 3 is actually really good. It's really, really good. Like storytelling Nas quintessentially. Him and Hit Boy. And Hit Boy is like going into some spaces with his beats that are like, yo, I think he's really having a lot of fun with Nas. But anyway, back to 21 Savage. 21 was not incorrect.
I don't think he is.
Nas is not relevant in the sphere of what is happening. He's not a Migos. He's not Cardi.
And I don't even know if
He's
Migos is still relevant.
He's not true. He's not NBA Youngboy. He's certainly not a Drake. You understand? These guys are looking at numbers. I put numbers on the board.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
Yuck. But yeah.
No, he's not wrong. I mean, these guys are looking at hard numbers. You're looking at streams. You're looking at sold out shows. Blah 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 blah. Nas is like the best of a bygone era. I mean, I'm an old head. Don't you dare call me a middle-aged head. I'm an old motherfucking head. Anyway, I'm an old head, and I can accept that. But the internet came for him, and it was so beautiful to see. It was so beautiful to see this man hold all of this heat for this comment.
For this comment.
This little, it was just like an offhand. Oh, nah, he irrelevant.
And man was like, "We talking about boy?
You mad? Nasir? These men went off on Escobar. These men went off on Nas.
Godson across the belly."
Right there. Listen, these men went for 21, and 21 had to come and clarify his comments. He had to say no. You know he's a legend. The man pedal back so look. The man like this. I think that was so lovely to see. That made me so happy. I mean, the only thing that would make me happier is if Nas and 21 did a track now.
Well, I mean, yeah, why not?
Exactly. But no, so yeah, I want to hear your take on Nas's relevancy and the relevancy of how does an artist who's been in the game, as Nas has said it, 30 Summers? He has a record called 30 Summers. 30.
Sure?
It's called 30. Yeah. So for an artist who's been in the game like 3 decades, what does relevancy look like, and can you be relevant after being in the game so long? Back to our Jay-Z conversation on that same God Did song.
You mean the 4-minute verse?
That you were unimpressed by.
Yeah, it was all right. A lot of people would be shocked when they hear that and be like, Douglas, you didn't think it was a good verse? I mean, it was a good verse. I mean, yeah. I mean,
we're not calling you lay listeners. That's not what we're saying.
I mean,
but check out Lupe Fiasco album.
Yeah, B.
You want to hear bars?
You want to hear bars?
You want to think? Listen to Lupe.
You want to think? You want drill music in Zion. Best album of the year.
Oh, you going there,
homie?
But you know it's November though. We could do a
that coming.
2020.
I got my list ready. You know, my list is nah. Seriously, I've been curating my list all year.
This man got a list in the chamber. Man, bad man, be. You want to tell me you got a list in the chamber?
Don't try and be ready.
Oh, you did that.
Listen, best album of the year. Yeah, drill music in Zion, B.
Under what? With what metrics?
With my metrics.
Which are the only metrics that matter, right?
Which are the metrics that matter to me?
The metrics that matter. The only metrics that matter.
The only metrics that matter.
I'm telling you, what is the metaverse, buddy?
Oh my God. Stop it. You know that Zuckerberg lost money on that stuff. Now, let us not even get into a conversation about blockchain and Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff.
You know.
This is not. This is the wrong. This is the wrong part. In terms of Nas and relevance, I think that I often talk about how Nas is still one of my favorite artists ever, and that is an interesting thing to say for someone who has continued to listen to hip hop and whose tastes have changed along with hip hop's change in sound. I mean, currently, I must admit, I may be having one of the greatest difficulties I've ever had in the years of my listening with the current type of hip hop that exists. It's difficult for me to find artists that I really like amongst the current sound of hip hop. Smino has out a song with J. Cole called 90 Proof. I really like that song. But
Smino's a new artist?
Not very.
Exactly. So he doesn't count.
Wow.
But
You're going to do that to Smino?
I mean,
wow.
I'm going to do that to you. Don't worry about Smino. He's good. I'm good over here. Out to the new crop.
Who's the new crop? I don't even know who they are. Like my son, every time I ask my son now, who are you listening to? He calls an artist I have no idea about. And I'm like, why don't I know who this person is? And then I listen to some of the music from that person and I'm like...
MC Jam, Butter and Bread. I don't know.
And I listen to some of the artists he must be listening to and I just be like... And he warns me because, everybody needs to know. My son grew up in my car listening to... Yeah, I mean, we lived on the street.
I was about to say, please do not pause there for dramatic effect. My son grew up in my car. Not true. He grew up in a household.
He grew up in a house.
There was food in the fridge always.
Yeah, and a roof.
Had a roof.
Yeah. But as we traveled from place to place, the only music my son ever heard in the car was my type of hip hop.
Right.
And so my son has a very long background of very lyrically intense, more New York style, but some West Coast and some Southern hip hop mixed in. It's just what I would play a lot of. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I'll never forget the first time I was listening to a song by Fetty Wap, and I liked the song, and my son was like, "What are you listening to? Like, this is garbage, Dad." Hello. Yeah. So, right. And I'm glad that you couldn't see what I just did. And
I wish I did.
and it's interesting to have that kid then play for you about 3 or 4 years later a song and you're like, what is this? Correct. I mean, he played me some stuff from what do you call it now? The hip hop style from Britain. Grime. He played me a grime artist recently that was really good.
Name?
I don't remember. Yeah, I do that.
Not Misty.
No. But I was pretty impressed with him. I started listening to some songs. I think I had suggested them to you before, but that was a little while ago. Mm-hmm. But the last guy that I asked him about, and he warned me. He said, "Dad, you're not gonna like this," because he knows. He knows what the taste is. He still hears the music in my car when I happen to drop him somewhere.
Right. Correct.
Anyway, so I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that Nas isn't like contemporaneously relevant. Maybe not, but is he? And so therein lies a strange space because there are a ton of artists who make great music but don't sell.
But why is Jay-Z relevant then?
That's a good question.
21 Savage would never, and I repeat, would never utter the words Jay-Z is irrelevant. Maybe
it has something to do with the persona that Jay-Z has built for himself outside of just hip hop. Because I'm a businessman, right? And so Jay-Z is not just a rapper. He's the owner of these businesses. He is a billionaire. He is about to buy a sports team of someone. So there is this idea that Jay-Z is almost like a godlike character within the walls and halls of hip-hop. And you don't go against that person. He's bailed rappers out of prison, helped them with their legal issues. So he's done these things. He's like this monstrous hip-hop philanthropist of a sort.
Right, okay.
Who will come out of retirement every now and again and spending time with his family to drop 4 minutes of bars and causing men to go wild in the street. While I'm just like, well, it was good.
It was just an okay.
Yeah, it was okay verse.
Okay.
I didn't mind it. I'll listen to it again and see what other things I can pick up
It's
from
done
it.
so much better.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I think that maybe who Jay-Z represents outside of just rapping on a song.
So he's relevant because of his business acumen,
Yeah.
not the music that he's producing.
Yeah, like, I mean, Jay-Z's the one doing interviews and people are having conversations with Jay-Z about more than hip-hop. People are having conversations with Jay-Z about life, about his ideas. And that's one of the interesting things that happens when you make enough money. People want to know what you think about existence.
But you see, that's the problem with 21 then. That means that it's just ignorance because Nas got serious bread, bro.
He does.
Nas is the one that has been investing in a lot of these fintech companies and all these like Uber and Lyft, and he's been doing that. Nas has disappeared because he's been stacking.
You hear what the man said? Basically, cryptocurrency Scarface.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that's what I'm saying. It's just so interesting how 21 would not put respect on Nas's name, but would never utter a word like that about Jay. What I would say is that was my feel-good moment for this week, watching people come for 21 Savage, especially after that trash of an album, Her Loss, that those two idiots and Muppets put out.
Like, I mean, like, seriously, guys.
Don't get me started.
It's they can't not know that the name of the album is trifling. They can't not know that, right?
It's trifling on
like
purpose.
any man, it's trifling on purpose.
All they needed was Future to be the other person on that. I agree. No, seriously. Yeah, I'm disappointed by that album. But it is doing major numbers.
I heard that the production is pretty damn awesome.
It is. The music is good. It's the lyrics are just trash.
Yeah, man. I like, even on one of a young man, a 19-year-old young man told me the other day that he was like, "Have you heard it?" I was like, "Nah," and he was like, "It's mad disrespectful, dude."
Yeah.
That's what that young man told me. It's mad disrespectful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's problematic is what it is. Cuz
on purpose.
It's problematic on purpose. Yeah, I mean, dude, another pod. Another time, another pod. We got to wrap this, man.
So, thanks for being with us for this new step out into the video realm that we've done. I will forever be SPG.
And it's your boy, Trizale.
He's not a boy. He's a man. Okay, it's the man.
It's cocky. I'll go with it. It's the man, Trizale.
And this has been the WireHeadz podcast. We out.